I'm going to start a new standard inch IPT. I'm now going to start a 2D sketch. Okay, and the thing is that I have to know is I need to know the height of the top of the cam. So I'm going to come out and create circle. I'm going to start it from the origin, but this time I would like for this to be a radius. Okay, so I right-clicked and I specified I wanted that to be a radius. Okay, I want to go ahead and continue going here. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my first distance, which is 0.5. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in 0.5. I'm now going to go ahead and make another circle that's concentric. I'm going to go out there and plug in my next distance, which is 0.625. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm keeping those dimensions separated so I can kind of tell which dimension belongs to which circle. I'm going to continue this on. Okay, I'm now past the 0.625. This is going to be a 0.75. Okay, my next one after that, okay, looking at the graph, at the chart, is going to be a 1.1875. Okay, keeping going from there, my next one would be a 1.625. Okay, following down the chart, you can see that these dimensions are now repeated, so I only have to draw those circles once. Okay, in order to keep going with this one, I'm now going to come out and draw a line. Starting from the origin, I'm going to take this over the very last circle and just draw that up here. The reason is I now want to take this line, I want to repeat this where this line is at every 45 degrees. In order to do that, I'm going to be coming up and going to circular pattern. I'm going to select the geometry first, so I'm selecting the line. Now I'm going to come over, hit the red arrow, because I now need to indicate what my axis is. When I do that, it's going to be saying it's going to place 6 of these lines at 360 degrees. Since I want them at 45, I'm going to be switching that over to 8. And I'm going to be going ahead and saying OK on that. Okay, so the first one we have to plot is going to be on our 0 angle, the distance of 0.5. In order to create the profile, I'm not going to use line command. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to use spline, and I'm going to start at 0.5. So this is my 0.5 line, 0.5 radius for the circle. So I'm going to start it at this intersection. That's my 0 line. And now coming over to 45, I'm going to be picking this intersection. Going to 3, picking this intersection, going to 4, picking this intersection, going to 5, and picking this intersection. Now, if you look at the chart, we'll see we're going back down. So I'm going to be finding the next intersection, into the next intersection, the next intersection, and the next intersection to complete the profile. I'm now going to right-click and say OK to finish the spline. Okay, now before I finish the sketch, since I don't want to have to worry about all these intersections with my extrude, the best thing I can tell you to do is to come right here to the spline, wait till it's highlighted, right click, and come out here and do a copy. Now I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to begin a new IPT. I'm going to start a 2D sketch. I'm going to pick on a plane, and I'm going to right click and do a paste. Okay. So you'll see that the exact center point here, okay, it would be the exact center point of what we saw earlier, okay, with our profile. So what I would do is come in here, and I'm going to say that the circle, okay, that I need to drop in on this one is going to have a diameter of 3/16. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to be switching this back to diameter, and now I'm going to be putting in a 3/16 diameter and hitting enter. My profile is totally done. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. I'm going to do an extrusion of this profile, but the thing is I want to do this as a symmetrical extrusion. If you remember back from 4.5 and you interacted with that, you'll see why it's so important. Okay, and I'm going to say I'm creating this out of, like plywood or corrugated plastic. I'm going to say that that is 1/8 of an inch. I'm now going to go ahead and say OK. I'm now going to come out here and save that file. Okay, so in 4.6, what they're asking you to do is to actually take this cam that you have now created virtually and you have drawn out and you've done motion graphs on and all this fantastic stuff, and now they want you to actually go out there and create a physical model. So this would actually be something made of cardboard or ABS plastic or whatever. So if we're going to be cutting this out of cardboard or corrugated plastic, what I'd tell you to do is to close out of the IPT. A little hiccup there. I now go in to create a new file. Okay, and I'm going to be selecting an IDW and saying create. When I create my IDW, I'm going to go out to base view. I'm going to now go out and browse and select that IPT I just created and say open. You would like your scale to be 1:1, so plug in 1 and say OK. Okay, so now once that view has been placed, you could simply print this IDW out, making sure it's 1:1 scale, making sure that you are not, scaling this to fit or anything, but making sure it's a true 1:1 scale. You could print that out. You could cut out this pattern, place that template on top of a piece of corrugated plastic, plywood, whatever it is you're wanting to use, okay, and then simply go ahead and cut that out. So now you'd have a physical model. So, okay, actually part of the curriculum of 4.6 is